Yeah, come on. Yo, this that spooky shit, that real, that's right. That GMSONIC shit. Hey yo, Mr. Clean. Shout out to Dracula Presley, Corvin, Johnny Slash on the beat. Hey yo. Yo, it's the GMSONIC show. Phantom opera flow, permissionless, immutable, unstoppable, spectacular. Gather with Corville and Dracula. Abracadabra, flip shit like a spatula. Few Andre Stan, the master of memes. DeFi king, half man, half virtual machine. No other team can match the collective expertise. No other chain can achieve the supersonic speeds. Home with the most creative tech. What's your favorite decks? Spooky swap, equalizer, Beethoven X. And when I place my bet, I never break a sweat. Worship the open source code like sacred text. Rest assured, battle tested and ready for war. I check the bribes, cast the vote and collect the rewards. Knock at the door, trick or treat. Move like a zombie, but usually I stay cooler than Fonzie. I get surgical with this, call me Dr. Doom. Break the sound barrier, hit you with a sonic boom. We got it wrapped like a mummy in a tomb. It's about time we address the elephant in the room. It's called Sonic. Yo, what's the new hot topic? GMSONIC. Straight up alpha, you can get it if you watch it. GMSONIC. Yo, what's the new hot topic? GMSONIC. Straight up alpha, you can get it if you watch it. Yo, since the Genesis block, consensus didn't stop. Innovating since day one and never missed the plot. I'm just a humble yield farmer, tending these crops like a routine. See you at the next epoch. Ayo, the DeFi Renaissance, yeah, we were part of that. Your favorite dap, Phantom is where it started at. Go to Paint Swap and cop an ancient artifact. Let's run it back so we can 20x the market cap. FTM's the pre-sale, S is the ticker. It's best to zoom out so you can see the bigger picture. Brand new tech, brand new insignia. No trivia, we stacking more chips than Nvidia. Graduated from Halloween to a sonic theme. The dead chain resurrected, make you wanna scream. Due diligence, follow the new primitives. Controlled by the citizens, built to move billions. Your mass adoption, that's the only option. We ain't stopping till we locked in the top 10. Who got the best community? Who got the most promise? Who got the most pumponomics? Phantom and now Sonic. Yo, what's the new hot topic? GMSONIC. Straight up alpha, you can get it if you watch it. GMSONIC. Yo, what's the new hot topic? GMSONIC. Straight up alpha, you can get it if you watch it.
Too hard, don't stand too close, you gon' fuck around and drown. Out this way, doing all these shows, I've been on the road, I don't care where I go, long as I get paid. Bad little vibe, she been on my mind, soon as I get back, she get slayed. Do this all the time, this ain't no surprise, every other night another movie get made.
Bro, what the fuck? Bro, what the fuck? Oh no, oh no, oh no, oh what the hell? Bro, what the fuck? Bro, what is this? Oh shit. Oh no. Oh god. What is this? Oh, fuck. This guy is braver than anyone I've ever seen. Oh, God.
The most dangerous man in Silicon Valley sits in an office in this building. People love him and hate him, often at the same time. For 10 years, by sheer force of will, he made the personal computer industry follow his direction. With this guy, we're not talking about someone driven by the profit motive and a desire for an opulent retirement at the age of 40. No, we're talking holy war. We're talking rivers of blood and fields of dead martyrs to the cause of greater computing. We're talking about a guy who sees the personal computer as his tool for changing the world. We're talking about
Andra Kranja.
Hey, hey.
Hello.
Hello, GM.
Look who's back.
We are back.
Welcome. Or should I say, ni hao?
Bring back the Chinese.
Yeah. You got to hang out there for a while, didn't you?
I hang out. I'm not like hanging out. I was from China. I came back to China to visit my parents. I stayed there for 2 weeks, nice 2 weeks. So I didn't get to see our fellas for this long, but I'm back. Like, so does the market.
Yeah. When you came back, the market came back. I'm sure it was a great time with your parents, Miu. We're glad to have you back, but I hope you had a good time too. What was I going to say? Like, how's everyone feeling today? I guess, it's first episode of the week. Is the sentiment good? Are people feeling good out there?
I think so. I mean,
no, I am.
I'll just let's see here. Send a little tidbit here that gold price took a big hit today. All the gold and silver down bigly. Everybody's
Peter
moving
Schiff.
into Bitcoin.
Peter Schiff on suicide watch.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about this before the show that there was so much crazy stuff happening with gold these last couple weeks. Obviously, you got to respect the new all-time highs and all that stuff. But talking about how, like, people were like waiting in lines for hours to like buy physical gold, and there were people that were able to, they're like marking, you're having to pay 8 to 10%, like just for like a handling fee or whatever the fee is, broker fee or whatever, to go buy gold, buy the top of gold. I mean, I guess I shouldn't say buy the top of gold because I don't think it's done. But
you think it's still going to run up some?
I don't think gold's finished. I think as long as we're in this climate that we're kind of in right now, where people are worried about the actual value of our currency and where that's heading. So yeah, I don't think gold's done, but I definitely don't think Bitcoin is done or crypto is done like a lot of people would have told you these last couple weeks. I mean, I was sharing the Bitcoin chart, like where I found it, like, this is the weekly chart that we always look at, and I took a bunch of stuff off the chart because I was like, my chart looks like schizophrenic. like that Charlie It's Always Sunny like board or whatever. Like it was starting to look a little schizophrenic. So I cut out the noise so you could see mostly what
reefs, underwater cave.
Oops. You cut out the noise. You're showing us just the signal here, which is the buy zone or the death zone. Is that what this red box is?
Well, yeah, the red block is kind of like been like the where, you know, if I was on the daily, you would see that we've hit this block a bunch of times. And usually that's kind of like the 108 to 111 area is where it seems that we've had really strong support. So you could have played that again. It's working out right now. I mean, you know, we're up to 113 today, but, you know, starting to see this pattern form here, which if this played out, it sure would be nice to see Bitcoin at like 145, 146 in the not so distant future. So,
Oh, wow.
Granted, this is the week's chart, so you know it would. We're probably a little ways away, but nice to see a pattern like this forming, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
a lot of the analysis I've been hearing is the general consensus is if Bitcoin can close above like 120, 130 once, that's when we have like it's like Groundhog's Day. That's like when bull market season can continue.
Yeah,
but until it can close like above strength, we're kind of in this like choppy, scary zone. And I'm sure, as you guys have noticed, assets that we are not even allowed to talk about price about on the show, all the assets are kind of correlated directly to this, is what I've been seeing. Every single thing is marching to the same exact, like almost all the, like all the charts look almost exactly the same, like bouncing off of a resistance line that is like for Bitcoin, it seems to be about 110, 120. But for ETH, which is the one I've been trading the most, is like obviously 4,000. You know, so
yeah. And if you're looking here, like, you know, like I said, this is a much higher time frame than most people are probably looking at. But, you know, I would agree that like if we could see a weekly close above 120, that would be insanely bullish because yes, we've gone up past 120, but mostly just, you know, wicks in terms of the chart. So I think, yeah, if we see a weekly above 120 close, I would say it is going down.
And you know, I don't want to keep our guests waiting too much longer, but if you guys are interested in talking about the debasement trade a little bit more, maybe we can talk about it a little bit later. But I read a little bit about it. It's quite interesting. Our assumptions about the debasement trade, about gold going up.
And we have a lot of good chats in the GMSONIC TG as well. So hop in there if you're not in there yet. You know, you can show some charts. You can do a little arguing. You can do all kinds of stuff. So
you can say whatever you want in the GMSONIC chat. Benny might mute you or ban you, but he's the judge, so we trust him, dude.
Yeah. We got a guest today. Got his hands in all kinds of things in Sonic, and was around in the Phantom days as well. So we're gonna fling him up on the stage here. Froyd, how are you doing, buddy?
GM.
Yo, family, what's going on?
He's got like the real setup here.
Yeah, the influencer room, dude. How you doing, Froyd?
Not fake. Yeah, I'm good, man. How is everybody?
We're doing fantastic, dude. We're doing even better now to be having you here, dude. Legendary artist on the Sonic Network, dude.
It's pretty awesome to be here, man. We had some good hangs and good chats, Covell, in Singapore. That was really fun.
That was awesome.
It's a pleasure to be here. It's love what you guys do. It's fucking great.
Thanks, man.
Appreciate it.
I mean, let's get like a little bit of background for people that don't know Froyd. Froyd, you've been around for a while, right? You go back all the way to the Phantom days, dude.
Phantom was the first blockchain pretty much ever that I came into the scene on. Obviously, I'm an artist first and foremost. Wouldn't consider myself at all a trader, I guess, even though the charts are hard to ignore when you're in the scene. I just came in with a project called the Pink Flamingo Social Club like a long time ago. And the Pink Flamingos was our insurgents, I guess, as a team. I'm still with a lot of that core team today. We're still building. So it's been a long journey from kind of cutting our teeth in the scene with the NFTs, trying to understand how that could relate back to what we do in our day-to-day life, which is music and arts and entertainment and all that sort of stuff. That's where my life and background is. So yeah, just kind of wrote up, learned a lot through that entire game. Obviously, we built a project that was multi-chain. We bridged some first ever NFTs across certain blockchains and stuff like this. It was all cool and well. But a lot like Phantom, we basically tied our entire utility of that project through multi-chain. So when things happen with multi-chain, we kind of the arse end of the flying flamingo was kind of ripped out from underneath it, and that kind of, we rode that down, which was, I honestly, if you're cutting your teeth in any kind of crypto project, it has to be done at some point. So yeah, since then we've just been kind of like understanding more elements of technology, and then just kind of continuing on with what we do. I've been still an artist and still creating art in the space non-stop since that day, and since our start in Phantom. And now me and the crew at Taste have just been building some really rad shit on just basically how technology and arts continues to kind of grow with each other. Essentially, that's the long and short of it, I guess.
Right on, dude. I like this. So we've got the evolution of an artist into kind of like an additional like business ventures. You're saying you're kind of marrying the art and tech to it. I kind of want to talk a little bit more about Taste. Also, I don't want to completely steamroll this conversation. Mew Dracula, if you guys hop in or whatever.
Oh no, I was actually just trying to pull up one of those.
There we go.
Yeah, because those were, because I saw Mahogany saying, I still got some of those. No, that was a huge collection when Phantom was starting to kind of like come up like in the scene last run, and
it was I mean there's a lot to reminisce on from back in those days, like I think it was when Tinfoil really had his platform way back earlier. He was kind of the first person who kind of was a conduit to a bunch of people that we connected to in the space, and then we just took this drug taking bird to a whole new level. We tend to do that with a team. Like we can't really keep it simple, stupid. Like we always overcomplicate shit, and we always go for crazy, ambitious kind of goals. Which is
I mean, I remember with this project especially, I think that was probably one of the first times we ever crossed paths where like the multi-chain stuff was such like a new technology at the time, being able to like bridge like an asset from one chain. I remember that's when we first kind of crossed paths, because like we were both like working on projects where they could like bridge to Avalanche and BNB and also back to Phantom and all that stuff. It was very ambitious at the time. I think that was one of the first, NFT collections that really was like, hey, like, you can send this to other chains, and there's all kinds of stuff.
I mean, that was the point, right? Like flamingos are migratory birds, so that was kind of the idea. I don't know if you remember, but this whole concept was we would split up the collection into 777 drops on 4 different chains, and then we would migrate all of those flamingos back to Phantom. That's kind of what the whole concept was. So we're basically like using this cool collection in order to bring users back to the Phantom chain. So that was the concept. And yeah, it got crazy, man. You remember the Gandalf kind of Mingo that was the first NFT in history that was what traveled from one blockchain to the other, and we brought that from AVAX to Phantom, and then the next day we auctioned that off in the Tomb Heads auction house, and it was it was just so. I mean, those days for NFTs, especially back on Phantom, was just insane, man. Like it was incredible. Like I connected and made lifelong friendships that I still have both here in Australia and online with some incredible artists. Like there was, I don't know, I don't think anyone who's involved in that time at Phantom around the art scene and the NFT scene will ever forget that. It was it was a fucking strange time in internet history, but definitely one that's been burned in the memories of a lot of people.
Yeah, I mean, we'll never forget that. Just like for those that weren't around, it was like there was like a weekly live auction, and we had all these like crazy talented one of one artists, and every Sunday it was like you were just hanging out like in a big Discord party, and they would run these auctions, and
it was fucking fantastic, man. Like,
it was very, very electric. Just like the community was really big and everybody knew each other, and just you looked forward to that, because it was kind of like a perfect, like if you were just hanging out at your house chilling on Sunday, it was like just a perfect thing to like just hang out. Maybe you buy some stuff, maybe you don't. People going to war over things they want, that kind of stuff. But yeah,
it was insane because you had this like, still to this day, like a traditionally very DeFi chain, right? That was doing really well. And it was like, there's a lot of DeFi degens that had found their home on Phantom, and they were making, this is the time of a really, historic bull run. So you had all these people who were cashed out of their brains, their bags are overspilling, and artists just got this opportunity, and thanks to things like Tomb, and everyone knows, like, if you don't know the insurgence of that, it was like, Tomb Finance, and then these artists that were kind of like, I guess they've toyed around with art and some cool stuff, made some fun collections, mainly just for community stuff, and then it just exploded into the why don't we host these auctions, and people were coming with their fat bags from that they'd made that week, and they were just pouring DeFi gains into artists. And dude, it was changing people's fucking lives. Like, it was insane, like,
yeah.
I know people who were living in lower socioeconomic parts of the world whose lives actually fundamentally changed because of that movement. And you've just got some fucking degens, just throwing DeFi gains at artists and being like, that NFT is sick, I want to buy that, and they're just throwing bids down, not realizing that sometimes they were in excess of tens of thousands of dollars. Like, it was insanity. It was
that's cool. Kind of how it felt too. It was kind of like you went out during the week and you were grinding and in the trenches and all that, and then it was like, all right, like let's see what's going on at Tomb Heads over the weekend. And yeah, I mean, it was crazy. Like, to put it into like perspective of, I knew several people personally that, they were living in like different socioeconomic zones and being like, I just bought a house. Like, and not necessarily like, oh, they sold an NFT for like $100,000, but, saying, hey, I mean, I sold an NFT for like $5,000 or $6,000, and that was able to, buy my family a house or buy my parents a house or, whatever.
I mean, you'd have to ask like Funeral about it, because he was involved in it quite early, I think, when Gab and Tomb kind of first kind of started it off, but I'm pretty sure it consecutively ran for close to a year. And some artists like, Clocky, I remember, was like one of the first artists kind of on there, and like you could sell multiple NFTs in a single session. So, when you compound that up, and it was kind of running with the bull run as well, like, artists were making incredibly good money. Like, it was awesome. It was awesome. And a lot of collections were springboarded off that, right? Like they'd all of a sudden they'd have this disposable income, and they'd be like, okay, cool, now I'm going to get into my generatives, and they'd pay like a good dev team. All of a sudden their one of ones opened up themselves to generative art. And that, when you do a generative collection as a digital artist, that like completely changes the game. It opens you up to a whole new way to think about your art and your collections. So yeah, it was epic, man. Like, it's a super soft spot in my heart from that time that we all enjoyed at Tomb Heads Auction House. It was fucking fantastic. It was such a great time.
Yeah, it was totally a singular moment, right? You're talking about like there's a lot of euphoria in the market, a lot of money around, so that people had time, or not the time, they had the interest in spending on kind of more like luxury type goods, which I guess is what an NFT is, right? You buy a nice painting like that when you're flush with cash.
Well, it's just entertainment. And I think that's why, this whole scene for me was a really interesting introduction to like how like finance, especially decentralized finance, can be this kind of conduit between, the art world and artists who basically their business models have been fucked for years, and people who just want degenerate entertainment, like there's this amazing, I think that should always be a thing where DeFi and creativity, or DeFi and entertainment and the arts should always have kind of wicked close relationship, you know. And I think it always will, to be completely honest, because people who make bags and big bags, they want to support and they want to spend. And artists are just a no-brainer in terms of the ones who we should support, you know.
Yeah, for sure. I think I've always had this feeling about like blockchain and art, right? And maybe this is as a result of another ad here. Maybe this is a result of this NFT craze that we kind of went through, but like they kind of go together quite well, I think, in terms of allowing people to monetize that maybe would not have been able to monetize their work previously, and also to like maintain that kind of what do you call it? Cuts down on like forgeries, scams, which is a thing that's like kind of ramping up increasingly since AI models have been propagated.
Yeah, man, it's essential, like totally essential. You know, blockchain is the way I see it anyway. Is like I don't see a world of operating digital artists that it just doesn't make sense to me. I think it's super required. Blockchain, especially with this AI shit coming out now, man. Like it's more important than ever that we try and have some sort of infrastructure to understand where the fuck all this content's coming from and who's making it, essentially.
Yeah. So, Phantom, we talked about Phantom days now. Now, Froyd, what have you been up to now? You've actually done some pretty high profile things here, I think. Some very high profile things for our community here.
Yeah. I also want to know, like, what you're up to. I've been seeing some of your art. I know you do animations as well.
Yeah, so I work really closely with Luis and Ash. Essentially, they're my boys. We work very closely in creating all like the world of the mascot, essentially. And yeah, we kind of that happened a long time ago. The team, the internal team, was kind of looking for a conduit to take the community, have a mascot to represent the community, essentially. And I think it was me and Matt kind of like were the ones that really slammed onto this idea of a fat mascot for a fast chain. The kind of juxtaposition there just kind of was perfect. It was like this fat, chubby little dude that, was wearing a pilot's helmet and could go fast, but didn't really look like he could. So that was really like the beginnings of it. And ever since, it's just been endless drawings, just drawing and drawing. The process is pretty cool for these animations. Essentially, I'll kind of run these all through a storyboard. I can share some of the process if you want, but
yeah, sure, you can share a screen.
Yeah, okay, sweet as I can share.
You can share a tab and we can throw it up there.
Give me a second. So basically, you go.
Oh, no, I was going to say, while you were looking for that, I was going to say you also did, I pulled up the Shadow mascot here.
Sado.
Sado. Yeah, I think it's Sado, yeah. Yeah, that was really fun. That's freaking awesome. I love working with 24, man. That guy is, shout out to him, bro. He's like, I love when people just give you absolute creative freedom, like dude's literally just like, yeah, that's kind of what we want. Like, I don't know if you've ever met 24 in real life. He's a very, very chill dude, So, yeah, he was literally just like, yeah, he's always like, it's kind of what we want. And then I put some sketches together and kind of sent some concepts through to him. And he's just like, yeah, dude, this is fucking on it. Let's go, So, yeah, it's super fun working with him, and then I worked with the Spin It team as well. And
I forgot that. See if I can dig that up while you're also.
Yeah, Blastoise was a good dude.
Blastoise. We got a guy named Blastoise running things around the network. While you guys are looking that stuff up, I actually got an anecdote. Mew, that flight is brutal, isn't it? Across the Pacific. My God,
bro, you can never understand. I feel like after the flight, I grew 3 years older.
I feel ya. I told you, when I got on the flight I had to come from Taiwan. I had what do you call it, layover over there. When I was flying on the flight back from Taiwan, I was so tired already. And like when I boarded the plane, I was trying to get in the wrong row, and this old Chinese guy, we couldn't even communicate. He's just looking at me like I'm crazy. He's like, "Why are you trying to get in my row?" He's completely right. He got his revenge though. He was like coughing and hacking the whole flight back. It got me sick, dude.
Yeah.
Right behind me. Look at that. My flight over there was much nicer though. Because speaking of 24, I was next to 24 on the whole flight, dude. So I had 14 uninterrupted hours of 24 time.
Wait, did you plan that, or that's just a coincidence?
That was just a coincidence. It was how crazy of a coincidence is that? I mean,
like, and you were next to him.
I was literally we were on an aisle, and I was on one side, he was on the other side, so we both had leg room. You know what I mean?
Dude, that's crazy.
That was awesome. We were watching Final Destination 28 weeks later. Anyway.
Just
Who's the spin it guy? I like him. Looks like a little top, you know?
Yeah, he's like one of those spinning top things, you know?
He's kind of got like the little hair thing that I got, you know what I'm saying?
Or is it like a I'm not, never mind. I'll Corval might know where I was going. So
the idea was we could put
Magic
anything on his face, anything on the screen, you know, like.
Oh yeah,
have some fun with that. All right, I think I'm sharing screen. Am I sharing screen?
Yeah, I got you.
Oh, wait, you are.
Put it on the stage if you're ready.
Yeah, you ready?
Yeah, I'm all ready to go. All right.
Oh yeah, look at this. Yeah.
So this is kind of how it begins. Like everything starts just with pencil sketches. So I kind of storyboard everything out. Ash and Luis and myself, we meet up. We talk about the concept. In this case, it was like, we want the Sonic mascot to be kind of in a factory, and he's kind of building all the different elements of Sonic, you know, and we want to showcase like VM and dynamic Vs and all these different aspects, right? So obviously, you know, working with Selleck on the shards concept like ages ago, it was like made sense. I was like, cool, let's just build elements of the logo. So that's pretty much what we do. So we kind of storyboard everything out. I draw it all up and sketch it all on my iPad, get everything kind of ready to go. And then I build this like kind essentially like fully do all the digitization, everything by hand. And then I'll build out like all of the frames kind of still in Photoshop. And then some of them, you know, when they zoom out and stuff, I have to make them a little bit bigger, all that sort of stuff. But then I'll run them all through. So I've got them all as my stills. So each scene is a still. And then I run that through a animation AI engine that I've been building for a while, which the more I use it with this character, the better it gets at animating it. But essentially, let's have a look here. No, so essentially, I get all the kind of the final, I guess, you know, the animations back from this AI engine that I use. And then I just go in and edit the whole thing together, essentially, with like sound design and kind of bring it all to conclusion, essentially.
Do you mean you build the AI engine, or it's something that you've been training it on?
So I use the animation. Fallout Zone's asking the same thing. So yeah, the AI engine is a combination of different tools. Depending, sometimes I use Kling, sometimes I use different kind of third-party animation tools. But what works best is me doing the majority like of the entire scene, get everything done, and then basically just give camera directions and certain animation directions. Sometimes it takes 3 or 4 different passes until I get something I like. But then basically edit everything together and then run it through a thing called Topaz Labs, which basically just like upscales everything, makes it all nice and crispy. And then I add all the sound design, all the music, and then all the titles, and then export and send off to the team. That's pretty much how it works.
It's amazing. By the way, you have really nice hand drawn, like the keyframes and the design.
Yeah, thanks, heaps. Yeah, I'm drawing my entire life. This is kind of what I love doing, and I love that. Like, even though I'm using these tools and stuff, I'm still constantly using my hand and using kind of my craft along the way. So I mean, that's literally kind of like what we believe in and why we've aped into this kind of AI technology. It's like kind of, I guess, the conduit of, or the motif that we try and keep, which is handmade and machine amplified or AI amplified. You know, it's like, how do you maintain the human craft while using these tools to kind of amplify what you do? You know, for example, I wasn't really an animator before these tools, but now I'm able to kind of like, you know, work and rehash and kind of get to animation, you know, in its own kind of cool little way.
Yeah, well, that's a good segue into you've definitely like had your hands in like some AI stuff on Sonic, but you also have Taste Labs, and I guess if you wanted to kind of give everyone the general idea of what Taste Labs is and like what you guys are trying to do and everything.
For sure. So essentially, we built a back-end infrastructure that allows artists, and particularly we're focusing on kind of large IP at the moment, so intellectual property with large fan bases, to train their own models and actually have a place to own and register and verify their own models. So it's like we're using the blockchain as kind of a protection software, I guess, as you can call it. But further to that, the team, we work as kind of like an agency essentially. So because most of the team is creatives and we kind of really focused on kind of product and applications, we work with the intellectual property to build like these, I guess, the next layer of fandom, or the next wave of fandom, where we use AI as the engine to power applications for fans, right? So we help kind of onboard IP into AI in a way that's like making them new money, like new revenue streams, and horizontally expanding what they're doing. For example, like exactly what I just said, right? Like I sketch and I create, you know, static artworks. With this technology, I'm able to horizontally expand into animation. But so if I was to do that as an artist, we've kind of built this infrastructure that allows you to do that in a way that protects the training assets. If you're training a model with zero knowledge proof and things like this, and then we have like an AIGC contract and a model deployment contract, which essentially attaches a smart contract to an AI model, and then creates, you know, a chain of title essentially for anything that model creates, right? So we're creating kind of like a verification layer and infrastructure. But then further to that, we're actually, you know, creating a backend for where you can host these tools and where you can kind of like create what these tools and you know, create flows for what these tools actually do. For example, with Abyss, that was a big thing that we did. That was really to prove that the power of what these models can actually do, from creating, you know, video content, powering all the visuals, the LLMs, you know, being the dungeon master of the story and creating a narrative and taking players through this kind of hero's journey. All of this is trained and powered by an AI engine. We are now kind of deploying and building the infrastructure that allows all of those models which make these experiences possible. We give them a place to be verified on chain, kind of bringing that whole blockchain and on-chain infrastructure into basically protecting both the assets that the collectors and the players are getting, but also protecting mainly the intellectual property that's used to train these models. It's a lot to take in, but like that's essentially kind of where we're going and what we're doing. We see a massive necessity for this, being creators ourselves. We're looking at the future and the way that these big tech companies kind of treat intellectual property. They don't really give a fuck, to be honest. So someone's got to stand the fuck up and you know, and do something about it, because we need to, you know, allow the exploitation of shit.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, but I want to call like Fallout Zones commented in the section.
Yeah, that's a great comment.
It's a great comment, and also it's tag build from artist to artist. It's really like you guys see the pain point, you guys see what's needed to fill the gap, and it's just great to see like great artists like you is actively utilizing AI and transforming into the new experience.
100%, man. Look, it's inevitable. This technology is here. It's not even arriving. It's not coming. It cannot be dodged. And looking at our consumers' behavior and the way that we've adopted it, it's pretty. I wouldn't say concerning. It's maybe equally as concerning as it is exciting. But it's just like. This technology is like super, super powerful, and we're pretty much all aware of that. They say it's like 17 times the size of the .com boom, whatever the fuck that means. But I think it's like it's just a real thing, and I think artists they should be concerned, but I think they're just we're at actually a perfect time, right, where we have AI insurging, and we've had blockchain growing for the past 15, 20 years, right? We see that as not a coincidence. It's actually perfectly timed where, we have this amazing chain of title automation, blockchain, and, ledger registry infrastructure that can help kind of power this kind of safe use case of intellectual property and artists' work in the age of AI, because you want to allow fans to be able to do what the fuck they want with it. You want max creation on all levels. Let everyone do whatever the fuck you want, right? The way to do that is to have a verification layer and have a ledger infrastructure and actually have a chain of titles so that we can when AI slop takes over the entire fucking internet, we can actually look at the blockchain, run it all back, and be like, okay, that's where it came from, essentially.
Yeah, dude, this got me super galvanized, super excited, right? This is exactly the kind of thing that I was envisioning, right? Like in terms of like when I create something, I don't want any fucking asshole to just take it and make money off of it, right?
Exactly.
Something that really motivated me, dude, for a while, Froyd. I'm sure part of because you guys have the experience as artists, but remember when like the image generation was first like really taken off? There were a lot of artists on X. Some were rightfully upset, others not so much. Like I don't think anyone's taking your DeviantArt inflation fetish or whatever and running it through ChatGPT. But a lot of legitimate artists quite upset, where it's like this is obviously being trained on like my stuff, and people are probably going to get paid for it. Going to use this for commercial applications. So this is like exactly. Dude, this is like such a huge potential, also like saving grace for crypto in general in terms of the eyes of the public, right? Where it's like, this is a use case that makes a lot of sense to people. When I make something, I want everyone to know that I made it and it's mine, and other people can use it or take it or whatever, but like with my permission. Super cool. The way you described, like you control even like the models, like learning, and also the inputs and outputs is also quite huge.
So it's about, you got to dumb this down, right? You got to use intuitive user interface and UX, because like a lot of these models, when you get granular for training, whether you're training low rank adaptation models like LoRa models, and you're brute forcing or teaching a machine or machine learning a certain art style, or there's a bunch of different ways you can train a machine, but a lot of it's kind of happening. A lot of the flows, like what creates, for example, a video flow, right? Like allows someone to just drop an image in, and then it just turns. You give it, some prompts, and it spits out a video. It's to abstract that and to pull the curtain back a little bit. A lot of it's happening, or at least looks like it's happening in a place called Comfy UI. Comfy UI is the best way to kind of see all the different modules that's happening. If you've ever been in a musician, or if you've ever played in a band or known a musician, kind of like a pedal board, or it's like Touch Designer, for example. So it's like different modules and different effects do different things, and you kind of have what comes in, and it goes through a kind of a chain of different effects, and then it kind of spits out on the other side. So Comfy UI is an open source community essentially that is constantly pushing the boundaries of like how to take all these different video models and different things that are available and create kind of experiences. They call it Comfy UI, but it's extremely uncomfortable to use. So it's a terrible name. It's really to get over that hurdle as an artist to learn that technology is basically like learning the Adobe suite from the ground up completely again.
Jeez.
So it's not an easy task. So I guess one of the big parts of what we want to do is try and abstract a lot of those controls, but keep what's necessary for visual thinkers and visual artists, and make it easy for someone to be like, all right, I've got, 150 pieces of my art that I've done over the past 10 years. I want to fucking train a model, and I want to create a dream machine so people can come and enter their dreams, and they can have their dreams created in the style of my artwork. That's just an example, right? We give them, and we want to try to give them the infrastructure to be able to do that in a way that makes sense to them, that's legible and easy for them to understand, and then give them the entire kind of permissionless infrastructure to just deploy that model and attach it to an API on a website, and then everything's just registered from that point as theirs. So
awesome, dude.
Yeah,
this sounds like really cool. What kind of I guess are you in early access? Is this available for anybody to use at this point?
Beta's coming pretty soon, but I'll be pretty real with how we want to roll this out, right? We want to make the best use cases, because really the bones of this is, personally, I want to create and try and create new fucking revenue streams for artists. That's a big thing for me. I want good, talented artists that are dedicated at their craft, who spend all their time on it, to remain in their bedroom and make money off what they do, not how they sell it on Instagram or third-party platforms. I want their talent to be able to sell what they do, right? And I think this kind of technology kind of gets us closer to that. So what that kind of comes down to is really solid use cases of what these AI models can power. And we use Abyss as an example. That's a visual model and an LLM that we've trained on a story that Josh Luna and I wrote for upwards of about 2 months. And then the visual model is trained on 8 pieces of my artwork from a series I released on Phantom, actually, called The 7 Deadly Sins. So it's a very low data set that we've extrapolated and gotten a lot out of. And then we kind of retrain the model with the more art that we've created with the model. So the Abyss model itself is a visual model, and an LLM are these 2 engines that are powering an entire kind of trading card experience for users, where they kind of go on their own journey, they have their own story, they have their own characters, they connect with clans. It's a cool kind of fucking mad storytelling experience, right? So that's one use case. A trading card experience is one use case around what these models can do. So we are kind of working with intellectual property, like big sporting teams. We're working with theme parks. We're working with wellness people. We're working with comic book publishers to kind of work and create all these different use cases for their audiences, and use that as a big testing ground to be able to kind of try and test all the different use cases, right? But then contractually and exclusively for us, we get to take all of what we learn from those builds and essentially bring that back into the permissionless model. So essentially we validate the demand for both the use cases and the technology with established IP. And then we get moved towards a permissionless model where we basically cut ourselves out of the picture at that point, and we open this up to the fucking world of creators. And we say, cool, everything's here for you to use. You can train your own models, you can verify your shit, and you can create new revenue streams for your fan bases and activate your fans in all these new interesting ways. That's essentially the big 3 to 5 year kind of plan, essentially.
Wow. It's quite wild. It makes sense to use the established IPs to get these deals. Also, I'm assuming it gets some capital flow in for the development.
Yeah, we have to survive, man. That's exactly right. Yeah. That's part of it too. But yeah, a lot of it is more just they have an audience to be able to test this technology with, because we're kind of on the bleeding edge here. I kind of assume that this is how it's going to go. But yeah,
I was kind of interested in when it becomes more I got some artist friends, right? I got some comic book artists or wannabe comic book artists trained to draw do cartooning and all the but he's working in a warehouse, right? It's hard to make a living doing cartooning nowadays. So
totally, bro.
I'm excited to get this kind of tool in the hands of some of my friends and see what they'll put out there.
Yeah, I mean,
how
look,
they-
beta is coming, to be honest, and we'll have hopefully a very large community of artists that are kind of testing and using this, behind closed doors. I guess that the big open version, which is more permissionless, is definitely something that we're working towards.
Well, dude, I'm super stoked. I'm super stoked for Taste, dude. This is exactly the kind of thing I've always wanted to see in terms of blockchain artistic integrations. And with AI, it's a no-brainer, dude.
Yeah, super interesting stuff. Speaking of use cases for AI, since you're here, Froyd, it's probably a perfect thing to look at. I like to see my AI involved in hyper gambling on perps.
That's good.
And this has been popping off the last couple days. Alpha Arena, which has been like a lot of fun to watch. If you guys haven't seen it yet, it's basically like they've taken a lot of the major models and they've given them all kind of like the same instructions to trade, and you're getting to like watch in real time how the models are performing in terms of like their P&L and everything. So like right now, DeepSeek and Grok have just been like crushing it. Chat GPT is down 55% from their initial position, but we were talking before the show how it was like interesting that you could kind of like the strategies of the different models kind of like parallel to like what they're trying to accomplish or what they can like be useful for in real life. So
yeah, and how they're trained, right? Like,
yeah,
it's, like what their actual use case for is, it's like when they're a fish out of water from what they usually do, it kind of reflects on the way that they perform on a market, right? Like, it's really, really interesting.
Yeah, I mean, because there's like a ton of data on this site. If you haven't seen it, it's nof1.ai if you haven't seen it, but you can see like what the positions currently are, the reasoning that each model is giving for its moves, the completed trades and like profit or loss. But I thought this was interesting earlier. Like it was just like Grok was just like Grok has just been long on everything like the whole time. DeepSeek, which Mew had some interesting insight on that. DeepSeek has kind of been finessing the whole thing. It's been like a gradual, just they're just like killing it. And I had read something that basically the team that made DeepSeek were like, or not read. Mew had actually told me this, that the team that created DeepSeek were like basically a side project for a hedge fund that are all like they have all these quants and stuff.
Exactly. Well, everyone knows that Asian people, they're just good at math, really good with all the quant and everything. And this fits right in the stereotype, to be honest, because the DeepSeek, everything, it started with the chat box, and it's solely funded by the founder. It's called, let's just call him Winfo. He is like a big owner of a hedge fund. It's called High Flyer, actually. And that DeepSeek is actually a side project, started as a side project for the CEO and solely funded by the hedge fund. And initially, all the engineers, all the data is actually from this hedge fund, and all the quants were just working on these projects. And they feed DeepSeek, the AI models, a lot of the data they use, like the high frequency trading from the hedge fund. That's why I'm not surprised to see DeepSeek is leading the chart here, because they're just really good at making money.
Yeah, no, it's like super interesting. Like, like DeepSeek has been very like calculated in like its opening and closing. Grok is basically just like a full bulltard, just like I'm long everything all the time. But then like talking about like Claude, how like Claude's kind of like overthinking it. Usually only has like one or two positions open at a time. So yeah, no, it's just like super interesting to watch, and like the site's really well done, like tons of data on it. There are even sites where you can copy trade what they're doing. So I threw a little money into that, see how it goes,
I gotta get that link, dude.
Yeah, I'll send you the link. I'll drop it in the GMSONIC Telegram too, if anybody wants to like play around with it. But yeah, there's a way to like copy trade. what these guys are doing right now. So
I was checking out some of the trades in ChatGPT. It is interesting in what it reveals about the models. I'm not quite sure what's happening here, but ChatGPT is making some very question. If you open up, click on ChatGPT and look at their closed positions, it's like longing Ethereum at like 4,092, right?
Yeah.
like the very top, shorting ETH like at the like $30 lower than that. It's just like going crazy. It's trading. This is the most human of the models. I'll say that because it trades like I do when I get upset.
I don't think it has any green. I think literally all the trades that are currently you can view are all just losing trades.
Just losing money, dude.
Yeah.
It's just always wrong, always doing the exact wrong movement at the wrong time. What a shame.
Yeah.
Sam Altman's gonna be poor forever.
It's
too
super
busy playing therapy for Gen Zs.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Look at DeepSeek here. It's just like exactly like what you want to see. It's just like
DeepSeek's an epic model, man. It's so well done.
DeepSeek's the one that like scared everyone a lot when it launched, right? Because they were like, oh my god, it launched for like 10% the investment, but performs just as well as the top model.
And they dropped it for free. I don't know if it's still free, but at the time it was.
They shared all their source codes.
They have the premium model, but most of the people just use it out of their free model.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, they definitely it was a big shakeup. I remember like when it launched and like ChatGPT, like OpenAI rather, the stock plummeted because people were kind of like, it was kind of proof that it was like, we're definitely like in a bubble.
Mm-hmm.
When somebody can make something like that and show that they made that with like maybe 1/10 of the valuation and the funds and like everything else, and it's like that good of a model.
Oh, look, the AI bubble concept is a very real thing. It's getting very large and very out of hand. It's pretty crazy.
Just because when people equate it with like, it's like just because it's a bubble, it's like no, AI is not going anywhere. It doesn't mean that it's like, oh, AI is a fad. I mean, because there was the .com bubble, and we still have the internet.
We're on it right now.
You know what I mean? Yeah, but so it's not going anywhere. But yeah, in terms of like valuations and the market and everything, it's like
I mean, I think this is just what happens with big tech kind of progressions, right? Like it just blows out of proportion. A lot of people make a shit ton of money out of it, and then it explodes, and a lot of people lose a shit ton of money, and then it matures.
It stabilizes, matures.
Yeah.
Exactly. People are right. The bubbles, you guys are right. This thing's not going to go anywhere. Remember, this is one I learned about in school, the Mississippi land bubble, dude. Mississippi's still there, buddy. You can still buy land in Mississippi. People still live there.
Ain't going nowhere.
Ain't going nowhere. So, I'm kind of worried about when this bubble explodes. But hey, we're gonna have good fun.
You bullish on the bubble, Corvell? You bullish on the bubble?
I'm bullish on the product. After I used it, I was telling I've resisted using like AI tools as much as possible because I'm a Luddite. But the other day I had like a breakthrough. I mean, I use them, right? But I've never really like sat down and been like, I'm talking to ChatGPT for an hour and a half, right? I've never done that before. I did that and I was like, damn, this motherfucker's actually pretty smart, dude. This is actually pretty useful. This is way better than Googling this stuff on my own.
Very assertive as well. We'll agree with a lot of the things you say, even when you're angry at it.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of, that's one thing about it is I kind of wish it wasn't as friendly. I was trying to set it up as like a professorial environment. I don't need it to be like saying, oh, good work every time I'm completely wrong, but
nice job.
I'm bullish on the tech, but I'm not bullish on continued valuation increases. I prefer cash flow to start increasing.
I feel like it just needs to narrow a bit, like with Sam Altman and his crew. It's just like they just try and do everything. It's just kind of like do you really need to do that? Like I think like pick a lane and nail it. Like you don't, this whole idea that you need to build one thing for, it's kind of, I don't know if you've ever read Chris Dixon, Read, Write, Own. It's a fantastic book, but it talks literally about this, the whole .com boom, .com bubble, and how we, at the very beginning, we saw the potential for like this super share economy, this open internet where you could do anything. And then it kind of just all restricted down to 5 or 6 lanes where most traffic were going down, it's just funny that that's kind of happening again. It's mostly to do with a lot of consumer behavior, but yeah,
you kind of see it with the products they're launching, right? Like where they're kind of like, I don't know if desperate's the right word, but it's like selling Walmart items through ChatGPT.
No, it's definitely desperate, dude.
It's like Sora AI. Like we've got a lot of video generation models already. I don't know if this is necessarily the most.
Oh,
you're supposed to be cutting edge, bro.
It's sacrilege, dude. Like it's intense. Like, they're so clearly trained on, like, Japan's taking a big stance against this, man. Like Japan's like pissed off because you see some of their animation stuff that they can pull off, like make it look like Japanese anime, and it's so clearly trained on so much intellectual property, which is anime in Japan and manga is not like, it's more than entertainment. It's a massive pillar of their culture, and it's basically their conduit for storytelling and expressing themselves. It's massively important to who they are. So to say that it's like just intellectual property, I think, is a bit of a stretch. It's so much more for them, and it's so clearly their entire, it's a massive backbone of their culture, and it's just clearly been scraped and just loaded with the bucket loads into these models without literally any consent. Like it's fucking brutal. That shit, in my opinion, needs to stop.
It's also like a lot of artists while it's a massive industry, like anime manga is a massive industry in Japan, it's not like most artists are even getting paid good money. They get paid about the same as they get paid if you were to be an animator in America, maybe probably worse. But so it's not, you're taking a guy who's not even that rich's money a lot of time. But the example that we all think of, I think, when we think of the AI image generation is the Studio Ghibli stuff. I think it's kind of funny that like you can't get an image generated through ChatGPT without it looking orange-ish and slightly Ghibliified at this point.
It's sacrilege to use his name at that name, Miyazaki, dude, was so against AI. Before AI even rocked up, he literally openly spoke about this to the public. He was known for being against this machine learning technology. Like, wow. I think it's so bold to just be like, Studio Ghibli model. It's like, how much more of a fuck you do you need to give to these people who like gave us some of the sickest animation and films and stories that we grew up with and know? Like, it's just, that's just been blown aside. What I was always saying around when the Ghibli model came out is like, I don't have a problem with there being a Ghibli model. Miyazaki obviously has a problem with that, but like, just if we're gonna do it, let them do it. Like, they just like, you're not gonna do it justice. Just like you said, Corvell, like it's orangey. It doesn't look anything like Ghibli, really.
Yeah.
But people are like, oh, the fucking Ghibli, like, oh, the Studio Ghibli. People probably haven't even seen the film. They're just kind of like secondarily attached to this IP. When you go and watch an actual Ghibli film, you like put 2 and 2 next to each other. Like, my brain was like, imagine an AI image remixer model that was trained by Studio Ghibli. Like, that would be actually fucking insane.
Yeah.
And I'd happily pay $10-$20 to use it every time if it meant that money majority was going to Studio Ghibli, right? Like, these artists are going to be so much fucking better than these nerds at training these machines. Like, that's the fact. It's what's going to happen,
Honestly, that's why, like, even your project is called Taste, right? In the future, like when AI interplay with human being and was their power to really just duplicate and like mimicking a style, it's really for the human to curate a taste, figure out aesthetic, and find out like what's actually valuable to the whole human being. It's a in the society, also defining the trends and finding what's actually tasty in fashion, in history, in art. Oh wow!
Yeah, there's something I whipped up.
Wait, that's actually pretty good.
See, that's good though. That's like I've seen some of these and they're bad, but that's good. That's actually good.
Solid.
Yeah,
I
man,
think that was spot on, Mew.
I got a bright future.
Yeah, Mew, you absolutely nailed it. Thank you.
Yeah.
You get it, man. You totally get it.
for
It's
real.
the whole reason. It's the
I'd love, and maybe we'll do it. Maybe we got to do a Corval cast, a special episode back. Because I would really love to talk about a lot more of the philosophical intersection of like the art to this, because it is like it's a big deal, dude. Because we all know it, right? When you look at AI art, sometimes you're like, that's pretty funny, pretty cool, and that's usually because someone had a funny, good idea, and then the AI made it happen. Most AR art looks stupid and bad because it's uninspired and made in poor taste. They didn't have any real idea. And then similarly, you have a lot less, I don't know, bless you. I feel like you usually have a lot less minute control over the AI models, the kind of particulars that artists really obsess over, which is what makes things good. So I'm bullish for art in general, guys. Bullish on the human spirit.
100%.
Bullish on the human spirit. Well,
We're bullish on the human spirit here, guys.
Well, man, we had a couple other things to look at, but we're pretty well over time. So we'll get back to some of this stuff on Friday. But yeah, Froyd, thanks so much for coming on, man. Super interesting conversation.
Super interesting conversation. We never really touch upon like taste, AI, and everything generic in the market. So I feel like it's a great convo and it's a great time to spend with you guys.
Yeah, and definitely keep us updated. We'll have to bring you back on. Maybe just bring you back on sometime just to talk about AI. It was a good chat.
Yeah, man. Look, 100%. Thanks so much for having me, man. I love what you guys do. You're always showing up and always being, a conduit and a voice for the community. So thanks so much for taking the time every week to do what you guys do. It's fucking awesome.
Oh, shucks.
And yeah, just I'm happy to come back and talk shit anytime, man. It's what I'm doing is what I'm passionate about. So I love bumping my guns and yapping about the shit I'm building.
Awesome, man. Well, thanks everybody for hanging out. Lovely to see Mew back. Welcome back, and we will catch you guys on Friday.
Adios, folks.
Ciao, crew.
GMSONIC is Corval, Drac, and Mew.